I was at the Hebrew University, where some of the great, there was still a great Yiddish department there. But that's not what, and lots of great teachers, I was not interested in it at all. I was studying comparative literature, and I studied Hebrew literature. And again, even at the time when I studied, when you had great teachers like Dan Miron and Gershon Shaked, and I didn't feel encouraged, or nobody really told me, oh, there's Yiddish as a language, there's Yiddish as literature, and I wasn't interested in it at all, and I didn't feel any encouragement to study it. I did have this kind of, when in the first few years, kind of going back to some of the yeshiva studies and trying to think about the connection between modern literature and the Talmud. So these areas I was still kind of interested in. And then, I had to kind of go all the way from Israel and from the Hebrew University to UC Berkeley to start my PhD, and then, in terms of comparative literature and Hebrew literature, and I became very interested in early 20th century Hebrew literature, which was in Europe and in Palestine and in America as well, although I didn't really know much about that when I came. And my teachers, Chana Kronfeld, Nomi Zeidman, Robert Alter, you need to study Yiddish, you need to be exposed to these people were bilingual at least, and sometimes they wrote in Hebrew and in Yiddish, and even if they didn't, Yiddish was the, so okay, I'll go and study it. So then I went to, this was the time when Eva was in New York at Columbia University, and I studied there, and then there was kind of interesting and strange. It was exposure to this whole world, and some of this world, some of the teachers came from the Hebrew University. So I had to go all the way from Jerusalem to Berkeley and then to New York in order to study with some of these people that were there just around the corner for where I was all the time. But I think this journey was necessary at the time. It couldn't have been there and then. I think now things are different, but at the time when I studied, it didn't really occur to me to go and to cross the line to the other side and study. I wasn't interested in it, and there was no encouragement at all. And yes, some of the things that I spoke about, kind of these realizations and the connection to my grandparents and my parents and growing up and all that, is really kind of the result of these years when I was in my mid-20s, even older, that I kind of understood and realized about my own childhood and my own. And when I told my parents that I'm going to study Yiddish, they couldn't believe it, because for them it was something that I always as a child wanted to go away from. I wasn't interested at all, and I think they were quite happy.